And also on fighting, this last week we just lost one of the best fighters ever in history.
Yeah, one of the top 10 heavyweights in history.
And not just a fighter, but a personality.
This man was a cultural icon.
Cultural
icon, right?
I mean, minister. He served the people.
Inventor.
Yeah. Yeah.
His product when we were growing up was in damn near every house you walked into.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. He's been and what he lives is his 76 years.
Yeah, he lived to be 76 years old. We're talking about Big George Foreman, man. Big George Foreman, man. He was a bad, bad man. I remember watching him fight when I was a kid. He was like
against Evander Holyfield. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
I was with my pops and my brother and my Papa Frank.
Yeah.
And I got to see, I mean, in San Francisco. And Evander, he beat him.
He had
you know what I mean?
He had a unique style of boxing, though. If you ever,
Foreman?
Yeah, Foreman. Like, so I'm a student of boxing. I boxed.
Yeah.
George Foreman had this unique style of boxing that they call a modified tie system, where everybody else holds their hands, you know, one protecting here and one in the front of you, right?
Yeah.
George would do that, but when he knew he was going to be defensive, George would put his arms up like this.
And it's like, you're not going to get through
and
this.
He had this system. You know, some stuff would slip through, but again, George was a tank.
He was big.
Only one time in George Foreman's career was he knocked out.
Only once.
By who?
Muhammad Ali.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Okay, so it's like that says a lot about him. That makes him one of the greatest as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, he fought how many fights?
Oh yeah, he had like 81 fights.
81 fights.
81 fights. And that's, you know, we're talking professional fights. That's not all this man's had, I'm sure, hundreds of fights, right? 81 fights, 76 wins, with 68 wins by knockout.
Oh, he was a brawler.
Oh no, he was flushing stuff out. Yeah, he was putting them down.
Well, he's so big. How much did he weigh, man? It says he's 6'3", says 78-inch reach. Oof. But like, how much did he really weigh? I remember seeing the movie, and it was like he got big when he became a minister.
He was probably a good 250er, you know.
I think he got probably at his fighting weight. You say it was 250.
Somewhere probably between 235 and 250 at fight weight. I'm pretty sure somewhere around.
We're gonna have
there.
to check in on that.
Heavyweights actually right now. There was a time period where heavyweights were like getting smaller, but like heavyweights are getting big again, man. They got some big heavyweights, but it's just like the athleticism is missing, or they just have excellent athleticism, great size, and they just don't have the skills to pay the bills. You know, they're not quite as talented in that arena as they used to be.
Oh, but, you called it, man.
What? How much?
You said that during his it says 220 to 225. What's his prime?
Yeah.
But not that he was that all the time. Nah. And really, he's like 260.
Yeah.
And when he got like real big, like when he was the minister and like stopped fighting and stopped training, he got over 300.
There's people that do it. I'm probably the only person that I know that does it damn near every time. That when I compete in combat sports, like almost every time I've had to go up in weight to compete, while mostly everybody else has to drop down. So
has
like
to go down.
Yeah, your walk weight is not what you fight at.
Why do you have to go up in weight?
Because my ego.
Okay.
Because
that's not the answer I expected.
Because I'm honest. I'm 6'7". I like to, you know, compete at around 220 or better, but I might walk around at anywhere between 195 to 210.
What are you right now?
Right now
You're light right now.
about 204.
204.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like I got the frame to carry it. It always goes on me evenly. It's not like it's anywhere like
Yeah.
nothing's heavy. So, but at this point, you know, with my age, my joints don't like it.
Extra weight.
My joints don't like it. So I'm gonna try to start competing at what I walk at.
Man,
You know.
I think that's a good idea.
But like, yeah, you can't. These guys are like, it's like, you got a guy that's walking around at 260. He comes into the ring at 225, and then you got a guy that comes in at what he walks at 260. Yeah, the guy that walks at 260 is going to be very strong. He's going to hit harder.
Yeah.
But he's going to die in the stamina and endurance department, and he's
For
not
sure.
going to have the speed either. So it's like we got to meet each other in the middle here, and that's why these guys do this, because they want to perform at their optimal, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So George is, he started out boxing at an early age,
Yeah.
And he actually competed in the Olympics.
Yes, he did.
I saw some clip that it was like him saying that was the most important thing, or the being the gold medalist in the Olympics.
I mean, that means like I don't care what other titles that means at that point, that
Best
day
in the world.
that
like,
day in the
period.
world. And so there's the most illustrious, I've said this on here before, you're going to hear me say it again. The most illustrious title in the world. All the Super Bowls are cool. All the NBA, all this team sports are cool, but the most illustrious title in the world is world heavyweight champion.
That's true.
There's nothing more than that. That means you're the baddest man on the planet. There's probably some out there that might be bad, but guess what? We don't know who they are. You're him.
Yeah, it's just there's all kinds of different ways that athletes compete for being a heavyweight champion. Back in the day, it was about boxing. When you say that, most people would relate it to boxing, but there's other disciplines in martial arts where it's a different battle.
They're all apples to oranges at this point. I mean, everyone should know at this point, and I don't know why these fans, that have never laced up gloves before or got on the mat before or kicked somebody or gotten kicked, make comparisons between athletes that are in different combat sports. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, he would better up. Yeah, okay, yeah, but if he met him in the boxing ring and only was boxing, he'd be in trouble in there.
Yeah.
And it's like there's always these debates that are there's really no place for them.
Well, but some of them make sense. Like I just saw Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul, and watching that whole thing was like, Mike Tyson, if he really did what he can do, he would have actually threw the punches.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of people that still think that Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I get it. I understand psyops. We'll get to that later.
Oh.
This is going to be one of those episodes, like where we continue pushing ourselves, And, starting out with George Foreman, I mean, that's what he did. He went out there and he pushed himself for the better part of his life based on being angry. Like he was mean, right? I mean, he had a tough childhood.
He was a hard worker.
And a hard worker.
Yeah.
And he pushed himself and had that grit and determination to be the best, to be what you just said, the heavyweight champion.
And he also had ties to the Bay Area.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, he had ties to the Bay over on what is it? I think it's like B Street. In Jackson, right over there, in Hayward, there's an Ace Hardware that just got shut down a couple of years ago. The building's still empty; it's for lease. That it was that same Ace Hardware that was there when George Foreman was training upstairs from that Ace Hardware in Hayward, California. So, like, yeah, George had ties to the Bay, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of cool to have one of the greatest ever.
Yep, and the building's still there. We're going to go see it. I'll take you over there.
That's
it has that
history
energy.
right there.
You know what I mean? It has that energy over there. And yeah, so like at this point in time in heavyweight boxing, what makes the difference to me between now and then was the level of competition. There was a whole bunch of big bad boys back then that were hard hitters, hard workers, and you know the standouts had to really prove it. You know, at this point in time, I feel like the pile is thin, and like those who have something will just flow right through them. They don't have too much opposition. George had all of the opposition. He fought all of the who's of heavyweight boxing, who were also champions. He fought all of the champions.
The only one he didn't fight, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I mean, George, and that would have been probably one of the best fights ever because they both had that killer instinct.
I don't think it would have made a good fight for George, though.
It's pretty hard to go up against Mike unless you're Jake Paul. I mean, that's back to the disciplines and the rules and the how the game is, right?
Or who's signing the check, right?
Well, that's what it comes down to, right? But George was a businessman too.
Entrepreneur, again, inventor. He invented
everybody knows it.
I don't know if these kids, I don't know if this generation even knows.
Oh, for sure. They've seen them.
They still sell them, huh?
For sure. They still sell them. I still got one.
I
had multiple.
The Foreman grill was made by George Foreman, was invented by George Foreman. And he invented it, started the company, and ran it for some good years, and he sold it. And now I don't know who owns it, but yeah, shout out to George for the Foreman grill because it's like the healthiest alternative to cooking.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah, it was crazy that he took like years away from the sport altogether and then came back
over
and became
a decade,
a champion again.
The oldest, he's also the oldest champion. He became champion older than anyone, and he was the oldest heavyweight champion. I believe he was
ever.
At the end of it, he was 48, right? I don't know how old.
So
yeah, he was in his high 40s. He might have been 45 or something, 40 something. He was in his high 40s when he became a heavyweight champion. When he beat Evander Holyfield to become world heavyweight champion again.
Did he beat Evander Holyfield?
Yeah, that's who he took the belt from.
Bro.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah. Look, if you look on his record,
where do I go here? I'm so like
go back to the main page and scroll up, and you'll see it. It'll be like boxing record. You might have too much open. Keep going down.
Oh.
You see his professional boxing record. Closes amateur career. It'll be below that.
Okay. Amateur career.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Keep going.
Professional.
Early
career.
Go. Yep. Keep going. 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 That was Frazier. Hold on. Come back. 10. That's it right there. Yup.
Okay, in 1987, after 10 years away from the ring, Foreman surprised the boxing world by announcing a comeback at the age of 38. Okay.
Came back at 38. No, started coming back at 38. But by the time he fought Holyfield, how old was he?
Okay, so Foreman versus Cooney.
You know who Cooney
Foreman
is?
versus no.
That's the Great White Hype.
Oh, that is
Jerry Cooney, right? That's the one they thought that that was going to be Muhammad Ali. See, there's always, I don't know if everybody knows this, but there hasn't always been one. But when black fighters started getting into boxing, there was always a Great White Hype because the black dudes kind of took over because they were just dumb athletic and strong. And yeah, for the culture, right? They always tried to get the Great White Hype. They wanted to take him down. They always tried to, wanted their Great White champion. But Jerry Cooney didn't make it. He didn't do that. He didn't beat Ali for sure. Man.
That's funny. So Foreman versus Holyfield. Foreman was given the opportunity to challenge undisputed heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield for the world title in a pay-per-view boxing event. This is all from Wikipedia, by the way.
At 42 years old.
At 42 years old, he weighed. He just had a small chance of winning.
You see what he weighed, though? Said. You see what he said he weighed?
257 pounds.
See? I tell you.
He began the contest by marching forward, absorbing several Holyfield's best combinations and occasionally landing a powerful swing of his own. Holyfield proved too tough and agile to knock down and was well ahead on points throughout the fight, but Foreman surprised many by lasting the full 12 rounds. Yeah, I mean, 257 pounds lasts that long. He lost in the end on points.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, so then it keeps on going, right? Oh, Morrison, this is another one that he lost, Tommy the Gun.
Damn, see, Tommy Morrison was another one that he had the saddest story.
Didn't he die of AIDS?
Bruh, here's the story.
What's the story?
The story is that he had AIDS, he contracted AIDS, and then he had to vacate and give up boxing. I think he was the champion at the time, or he was real close to being the champion. He was knocking out everybody.
Yeah.
They wanted him to fight Mike. Years later, they came out and said that he didn't have AIDS.
What?
Yeah, we're going to do something on that. We're gonna look.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they just essentially, what happened to him?
He fizzled out, man.
So he tried to still fight?
He was old by then, bro.
Oh, man. So is he still alive?
I don't think so. I'm not positive on that, but I don't think so. But Tommy the Gun was a real deal. Hey, Tommy Morrison was scaring the world. Like, he was out there. He was like a white Mike, dog. Like, he was really knocking stuff out there.
Yeah, he beat Foreman, unanimous decision.
Nah, he was beating everybody.
And then
Tommy Morrison was beating everybody, bro.
Foreman versus Moore.
Michael Moore.
Yeah. And then
what was that, Briggs? He fought Shannon Briggs. That's crazy. Shannon the Cannon. Shout out Shannon Briggs. What's up, big dog? Shannon Briggs, man. Miami, man. Real one, man. I got love for Shannon, man. I had a couple good conversations with Shannon Briggs, man. He's a cool dude, man. At the time, I met him through a dude that was managing him at the time named Milton, man. Shout out Milton. Yeah, Shannon the Cannon.
That's pretty cool, man. So you even know some boxing.
Yeah, I learned to box from a guy by the name of Louis Lagerman. What up, Lou? Shout out Louis Lagerman. Louis Lagerman at the time was Angelo Dundee's head trainer. Angelo Dundee trained Muhammad Ali.
Oh, wow.
And that's the boxing camp I came from. That's where I learned how to box from. Shout out David Estrada. Shout out Kenny Lunkin. Shout out Attila Levin. All these guys were, boxers under Louis, under that camp, under Angelo. And all these guys were. Kenny Lunkin hit me harder than I ever been hit in my life, in my face, bro. Like, when somebody would look, I've been knocked out a couple times when, like, a couple cheap shots when I wasn't looking at somebody. Mm-hmm. Like, no straight fairwind knockouts, like where I was looking at somebody squaring up. But Kenny hit me so hard in my face that it changed, like, the shape of my face. Like, there's a point in my face that bulges a little bit because this dude
changed the shape of your face?
Moved the bones in my face. He hit me so damn hard, bro. He didn't knock me out.
Show the camera how it changed your face.
I think it's on this side. It's just like it sticks up a little bit. Can you see how it sticks up a little bit than the other side? It's like at this point. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny.
Definitely
Kenny Lunkin, man. And Kenny was only like, bro, at the time, hey, look, at the time I was strong, boy, hitting like a truck. Kenny must have been 175. I was sparring with Kenny. Kenny hit me so damn hard. I kept boxing with him, but I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Like I knew
knock you down?
Nah. I knew he had hit me so damn hard though that something felt like it didn't feel before. Like, you know what I mean?
So, just kind of
King David Estrada, I love you, brother. That's my brother. I love King David Estrada. David Estrada, man, Chi-Town. Chi-Town boy. I believe David's Mexican and Guatemalan, man. David was a boxer for a long time, did really good in boxing, man, and now is training people down in LA, man. So anybody down in LA looking for a good trainer, man, go see King David Estrada. Yup.
That's what's up. So with all the time getting hit, fighting, all this stuff, does it mess with like the way you think?
Well, thank the Lord.
Like brain.
So I learned fundamentals of boxing from Lewis, and but I did good because of my athleticism and my body, but I still didn't know how to box like I do now. Like I didn't have the polish. I didn't quite like understand how the fundamentals applied to me and what else I was doing. But I developed a system that is all about protection. That I very rarely get hit. Like since that's come into play, and it's been many years. I've sparred with many people.
So you adapted based on kind of all the stuff that was happening and how to protect yourself.
Yeah, even when I throw punches, I'm protecting myself, and it's just like trying to have everything in the right place all the time. Just like having your fundamentals that tight so that. Because what happens, it's not like you don't get hit unless you make a mistake. It's like jujitsu. You see, in jujitsu, like everything's tight, everything's good. You're not going to give anyone anything. You're not going to get tapped out until you make a mistake and somebody capitalizes on that mistake. It's the same thing in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.